Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to another episode of Spiritual Sundays, a series where I'm talking about all of the deeper issues in life, from subjects related to mental health, human psychology, spirituality and so much more. Now, in last week's video I talked all about the importance of staying true to our own beliefs and values and allowing full self-expression with no holding back. But what does it actually mean to be ourself, and how can we find our true personality? We are all born with a personality, unique traits and characteristics which develop as we get older. It's not something that we find outside of ourselves, more so something that is within, which we can tap into at any time and release. The more we step into our true self, that unique power within, the more attractive we become, almost magnetic, which has a very powerful effect on other people around us. We like people who are real, when there is no fakeness, superficiality, people who are able to speak their own mind. We feel that sincerity and are comfortable in their presence because it allows us to open up and express our true self too. There are some people we meet in life who we would describe as having a great personality. Now, it's not that they have better traits than anyone else, more so that they are able to express themselves fully. Whereas someone we might see as having a not so great personality is simply unable to express themselves. This results in shyness, nervousness, guilt, anxiety, irritability, frustration, and a difficulty communicating with other people. A suppressed personality is often the result of negative feedback from the outside world, for example in the form of criticism from another person. This negative feedback or criticism is helpful in that it tells our brain that we need to slightly change our course of action or give a different response to a situation. It's a built-in mechanism that helps us to steer clear of danger and move towards our goals. However, if we receive too much criticism or if we are overly sensitive to it, this can result in a complete inability to act. So rather than changing our response, we don't respond at all. We feel like it's wrong to even move forward. This can happen particularly if we were brought up in a family who were overly critical of the way we acted or behaved, if we were bullied in school, or if we just received a lot of negative comments from other people during our life. Even if we interpret the feedback as being negative, whether it actually was or it wasn't, it can still have the same effect on us. We become excessively anxious or scared of doing or saying the wrong thing, so in order to protect ourselves, we instead do nothing at all. Many of us, myself included, are far too worried about what others think, and so we suppress aspects of ourselves in order to please the other person. We pay far too much attention to every move we make or word we speak and end up coming across as very fake or superficial. Other people can detect this a mile off since it comes out through our body language too. So if we want to truly connect with another person and make a good impression on them, the best thing we can do is to stop trying to please them at all. Instead of constantly wondering what the other person is thinking of us, we can instead place our attention on actually listening to what they have to say. This can really help get us out of our own head and will lead to us giving a more spontaneous and creative response. Have you ever noticed that when you're completely alone in your own space, you're very calm and relaxed and feel free to do and say whatever you want? I know that I certainly am. So it's not so much that we are scared of expressing ourselves, more so that we are scared of what other people might think if we were to fully express ourselves. So knowing this, we can practice being the person we are when we are completely alone, when we're with other people, without thinking about whether they are judging us or not, like acting as if nobody else is there. Now, this doesn't mean that we completely discount or ignore the other person, of course, or that we will avoid all negative feedback, but it will help reduce our sensitivity we have towards it. Start by practicing this with a close friend or family member who is more likely to respond to you in a positive way. Then work yourself up to doing it with a total stranger. It is a scary thing to do at first, but see it as a fun experiment. You'll most likely be pleasantly surprised by the responses you get. Also, practice being less conscientious. Yes, our conscience can help guide us in life. It keeps us out of trouble and our behaviour appropriate according to societal morals and ethics. But our conscience is based on what we believe to be right and wrong, and sometimes our beliefs can be totally untrue and unrealistic. So sometimes we need to question our conscience and ask whether it is actually helping us to reach happiness and success rather than the other way round. Sometimes, particularly during childhood, we are punished for expressing so-called negative emotions such as anger or fear. But there is no such thing as good or bad emotions, and suppressing one type of emotion can lead to us suppressing all emotions. We become scared of expressing how we feel or sharing our opinion. We become a nobody. So learn to speak and act before you think. Just open your mouth and say it, or do something sporadic without planning. And if something doesn't go quite right, you can always correct yourself along the way. Stop criticizing yourself for everything you say and do. It isn't helpful and can lead to a destructive cycle that gives rise to even more inhibition, guilt, and anxiety. If you can't think or say anything nice towards yourself, don't say anything at all. Begin to speak up a little. Next time you're in conversation with somebody else, raise your voice slightly. This doesn't mean you have to shout at them, just speak confidently and clearly as if you have something very important to say. And you do. If you're particularly nervous about doing this with another person, start at home and keep practicing. I sometimes talk to my teddy bears. It really does help. And finally, another way in which we can get out of our own head and start to express ourselves fully is to focus on the other person. Pay them a compliment and make sure it's genuine. Express love and kindness towards them. This is a completely natural thing to do, and it's in our human nature. This creates a positive feedback loop. It makes the other person feel good and relaxed in your company, which in turn has the same effect on you. It gives permission for both people involved to fully express themselves, which is a truly beautiful thing. This is one of the many videos I will do on the subject of self-love, because self-expression is a form of self-love. So I really hope you enjoyed it and it was helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications button so that you don't miss any of the latest updates from me. And of course, if you have any questions or things you want to say, please do pop them in the comments below or come and chat to me over on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!